What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the certifiably suave Dr. Disaster. And the first estimates are coming in for the second box office weekend for Snow White. And seeing the numbers is prompting me to ask the following question. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the stinkiest of them all?
It was me!
Considering how shitty the first weekend box office was for Snow White, it is hard to believe that there even is much room for the box office to drop for the second weekend. And yet, here we are. The contempt that the public has for this reimagining of a classic film into a progressive shit-lib fever dream apparently knows no bounds. It looks like they are staring down the barrel of about a 60 to 65% drop-off from the first weekend to the second. So, the next time some dope tries to defend the BS that Disney has been shoving into their movies, feel free to remember the following equation. I'm not a mathematician or anything, so feel free to check my work, but if you have shit to begin with, and you take 65% off from shit, I'm pretty sure that that comes out to roughly jack shit.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video to drive away the algorithm monster, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and don't forget to support the channel by becoming a member. There are multiple exclusive projects you don't want to miss out on, available to members only, including audiobook of my novel. There will be more information soon, but it occurs to me that we can't just point out the things we don't like in our culture, we have to push the things we do like. So, if you're interested in supporting that, consider becoming a member of the channel. Anyhow, let's take a gander at the Snow White box office for its second week. Things have not at all been looking good, though they have been trending slightly ahead of the Marvels in their second week. That's not saying much, but at this point, they will likely take any good news that they can get. Let's look at how the box office has looked for the week thus far. Domestically, Snow White gained about $2.5 million on Monday, $4 million on Tuesday, another $2 million on Wednesday, and $2 million more on Thursday. This leaves them with a running total for the weekdays of about $10.5 million. For comparison's sake, here are the numbers for the first week of the Marvels. On their first Monday, they hit about 2.3 million. On Tuesday, they hit 3.3 million. Wednesday netted them about 1.8 million, and Thursday got them about 1.2 million. Added together, the Marvels made a little over $8.5 million on their first week. That means Snow White is pacing a couple million ahead of this legendarily underperforming film. That certainly isn't good. But here's a report showing that we can expect a massive drop-off week over week for this film from the first weekend to the second weekend. This article comes from Rogers Movie Nation. It says, Disney's big but hardly huge live-action Snow White. I love how these idiots in the media are still trying to run defense for Disney. Big but hardly huge. I have been reliably informed by ex-girlfriends that language like that is just the polite way of saying that something is small. Never mind what they were referring to. But anyhow, reading on, Snow White cleared the $50 million mark on its first week in release and should add another 15 million plus on its second weekend, remaining the top draw at the North American box office. That 65% or so drop off from its opening isn't good, but with family films, Saturday and Sunday are the true sell. I wouldn't be shocked if it sold 17 million in tickets by midnight Sunday. Okay, and let me stop them right there. It really doesn't matter that much, does it? The difference between a $15 million and a $17 million second weekend is so minuscule in the grand scheme of things that it's irrelevant. Either of those numbers represents around a 60% drop-off, which is hard to imagine considering they started out so poorly in the first place. Once again, the bright side for Snow White is that this is still trending ahead of the Marvels, who had a higher drop-off from their first weekend to their second, but the bad news for Disney is that this still is an extremely weak position to be in. Beating the Marvels in the box office is like being a cooler superhero than Aquaman. You really shouldn't even have to try. But for anyone still trying to hold on to hope that this movie was suddenly going to rebound, it is time to dispel that notion. There's no coming back from this. Trending just ahead of the Marvels by a few percentage points suggests that the movie is going to globally end up taking in somewhere between $220 and $250 million by the time its run is over. Considering that the film had a budget of $270 million, and considering that's not even factoring in marketing, and they have to double the amount of money that they spent in order to simply break even, because of course the movie theaters take about 50% of the ticket sales, but considering all of that, this is extremely bad. But also keep in mind that these wretched box office numbers are coming with almost zero competition right now. But next weekend, the Minecraft movie comes out, and the few kids interested in Snow White are going to forget that this movie even exists. It's time to admit that embracing this hyper-progressive, feminist garbage simply isn't selling movie tickets. People are tired of it. They are tired of anything even remotely masculine getting erased from existence by these companies. This girl boss overcoming the patriarchy narrative is played out. It's boring, and most importantly of all, it's bullshit drivel invented by jackasses who are professional victims for a living. Perhaps this is why the casting for the new Avengers movie that was just revealed only reportedly includes 5 women out of 27 characters. Perhaps Disney has come to their senses and realized that not everything has to be utterly and artificially feminized in order to please the perpetually offended. I sincerely doubt that this means Disney has completely come to their senses or anything like that, but it certainly is interesting. In any event, I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of this failing Disney box office turd into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.